This one's going to be some stuff today. I can already tell. And the fact that I was so sure that I would get on here and do another live this so quickly after the last one definitely inspired content we're going to go through today. So something to look forward to. I don't really have any announcements, do I? Nope, no announcements. Everything is normal. Nothing exciting to look forward to. I'm sorry, y'all. But that's kind of the way I am, you know. You get me when you get me. And you get what you get. Hey, we've got some viewers. Seth is here. Lord Bibby's here. Seth liked my video or said it was interesting. I don't want to say you liked it if you didn't. But you found it interesting. Yeah, I listened to it this morning. I got up a little early. I kind of listened to it last night a little bit as I was kind of, getting ready for bed and stuff. And I do that with my videos. I often will listen to them after viewing just to kind of go over everything again and, kind of get it solid and think about. Sometimes I get ideas for other, videos just listening to mine when things aren't complete or something that's said, triggers another thought. So, it's part of my creative process is to, mull over my work. Now, wouldn't it be great if I did this, in terms of editing, making it slick? That would be a way to go over my work, I suppose. Oh, and here we go. We got drama. Mr. Been sleeping all afternoon has decided to come up and acknowledge my existence now that I've gone live. You're fake. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad. And yeah, the longer form content is kind of nice, I think, for that sort of thing. I used to do a lot more pre-recorded videos, but I find that this is more natural for me. And I think more of my personality comes out. Whereas if I am just recording myself talking, I can come across a lot more, what's the word? There's a few words and they're not nice words. So I prefer this kind of format. It's more like hanging out too. I didn't know you streamed as well. So you stream. Okay. So I need to check you out now. Quite a creative group. Yeah. So, and man, okay. Where to get started? We have some viewers here, some people come in and out. I thought that this, topic would be of interest to people, but I also think the time is not my best time for streaming anyway. But anyway, yeah, I was thinking about Me Too today as I was listening to the American Anchor Baby show. And I called in, y'all. I actually called in and spoke with Nick briefly about it. But I've been thinking about this, how I've thought about it and I've talked about it in different ways. But I just think kind of going over Me Too as a phenomenon would be something helpful for this channel because, at the time it happened, when it first started kind of hitting the internet, I remember the first exposure I had to it was seeing someone I knew, one of my coworkers actually posted it, posted this thing. And she said, Me Too. And so, I looked into it a lot and it was viral. A lot of women were doing this, specifically women. I don't want to say there weren't other people, but I was noticing it specifically from a lot of women who I'd never talked about any of this with, and I was already a feminist at the time. So I talked with women about this previously. Like we would get in sometimes, it comes up, especially if you're involved in radical feminism, because a lot of it, is around a lot of radical feminist activism centers around actual physical help for women who are facing like the impacts of male violence. So, you're going to be working with and meeting women who work in like rape crisis centers or like call lines or domestic violence shelters, women who are kind of at the forefront of those spaces and those resources in our community. So, amongst other things, they're everywhere, all over these kind of call it an industry. It's messed up to even think of it that way, but it has to be under, the society we live in. These are run as business models. Oh, baby. Hi. I love you. What's so good about you? What's so good about you? Everything. You so good boy. Look at you. You got right up here, right on. Mama had a lap that was not empty, but you knew better. He knew better, y'all. He knew what I needed. He knew I needed him. I do need him. He's the best cat in the world. He really is. He's such a cool dude. You are such a good kitty, aren't you? Yes, and you love me too, don't you? You love me. They say that animals don't love, but this one does. He very loving. Hi. Yeah. Hey, Seesaw. Welcome. Yeah. And thank you for your comments. I was going to respond to one of them, but I just was like, I only have so much energy right now. I got to go live. I got to talk about Me Too. Okay. So we're getting off topic. He's like, Vivi's like, oh, it's, yeah, y'all with the fake modesty. It's good. I'll check it out, Seesaw. Do you make content too? Like, do you make videos, Seesaw? Like, or Seesaw? I don't know what the pronunciation is too. Like, I'd love to check it out. So anyway, no, we're going to leave that up because that's a nice message. People need to see that. I got your live. The enthusiasm is real. Okay, so back to Me Too. I remember at the time that it first happened, all of these women I knew, and these were women, again, that I had feminist friends, community for many years prior to this, and I, didn't really talk about this outside of those spaces or with those kind of women because it's such a dicey matter anyway. And like part of you knows when you're a radical feminist anyway, I think that you're kind of going to come across crazy to the average person. So for me, like I would give my opinions if asked, or if they're solicited, but I wouldn't, be like flying my flag all the time. When I first radicalized, I definitely was. Like, don't get me wrong, I was obnoxious feminist. Like, seriously, I don't know how people put up with me, but they did. I guess there was enough good in me. But anyway, yeah, I was noticing like, women who I'd gone to school with or like women that I'd worked with were posting Me Too and coming forward about the fact that they'd, experienced some kind of, I don't know, we have to be cagey about our language, but I honestly hate censorship culture. Y'all know what I'm talking about here. Me Too can mean a myriad of things to myriad different people. But it generally relates to a violation of one's sexual boundaries, okay? So when women were posting this, I'm inclined to believe them just because being in the radical feminist, space for so long, I already knew the statistics. you get into reading the statistics about how common like sexual violence is. It makes women crazy. This is why women like get crazy, because they start reading these things out, and it's just like, it's just like the race obsessed people as well. Honestly, it's the same spirit that drives them, because they'll like start reading statistics about crime, and reading like detailed reports, and like hearing finding news articles, and it's just this unhealthy obsession and fixation that continues to snowball and becomes like an avalanche coming down a hill, with people, psychologically speaking. And it has, and often is related to, and is very easy to happen to people if they have some kind of experience, or if they identify with whoever they're working with, or whatever. It's not even working with. This happens to people who aren't even like doing the work. You know what I mean? You don't have to be like a real activist in any capacity to get your mind totally warped by this. So, and a lot of the times the people who are, deepest into the activism, like the people actually working the facilities, and actually helping women who've been through whatever, like rebuild their lives, those people tend to have much better heads on their shoulders, or those women do anyway. They because they have to. Sweetheart, you don't want me to do my art. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Cecil, and that's the thing. That's the thing about it. Like, I believe those women. Like, my coworker tells me that she's been sexually assaulted. I'm not going to censor myself. I don't care. I don't care. We should be able to talk about these things. Actually, I'm really sick of this culture where we're being penalized for talking about real things that happen. Can't say, like, I'm not, like, it's not advertiser friendly. Okay, but if I turn on the regular TV, I'm going to see all kinds of like debauchery and filth. And I'm not even being debaucherous or filthy. I'm just telling the truth. Anyway, I need to not go off like that. I need my soapbox. You know what I mean? I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of censorship culture. And like Me Too is that as well. Because you know what? Even though women were coming forward and admitting that they'd been, sexually assaulted, molested, raped, whatever happened to them, groped, sexually harassed. I mean, I've been through it. I don't want to get into the details of everything I've experienced as a woman, but it's in the ether. It's part of living in this world. Our culture is messed up. Men are, a lot of them are not in control of themselves. We'll just say that. Like, there's evil spirits running around in people, and people are doing wicked things left, right, and center because they're just like completely possessed with their demons. And I think that's, this is what I kind of want to talk about as well, because this is spiritual warfare that we're dealing with. We think of these things as, I don't know, we separate the spiritual realm from reality, and it's false. What we're experiencing right now, every day, this kind of stuff, it's evil. All right. What happens, like the Me Too thing, like all of those experiences that people go through are evil. And they're a result of evil being in the world. And they're a result of evil spirits that are in people. And it's, really so much of how we get possessed by these things and how these movements take on lives of their own and become destructive is because they're being used as a tool of evil. But anyway, yeah, all these women were coming forward and like admitting to being through these things, like normal women, not celebrities. Yes, celebrities were doing it, but they weren't, they weren't to me, what it was. To me, it was like, okay, 3 of my coworkers just mentioned casually on Facebook that they've been essayed or R-worded, like how do we go on? But you know what they never did? What normal women didn't do. I'm sure a few did, but what I didn't see normal women who were participating in this. I didn't see them mentioning who. You notice that? Like, I didn't see them mentioning who these guys were or guy was that did these things. Or woman who did them, because women do it too. Not to anywhere near the same extent or degree, but yeah, they do it too. So, yeah, I think that's interesting because what Me Too became in the public, for the average person was very different from what it became politically, and how it's being used to get rid of men that are inconvenient or whatever, like, or men that they want to take down for whatever reason, they want to get rid of men that might be. And I'm not saying that these guys haven't done something, because it's likely, but we're so obsessed with this culture. We act as though justice that's happening out in the public sphere is supposed to be significant to the average citizen or person. And I think what ended up happening with Me Too was a lot of women specifically who have trauma, to whatever extent they do, related to being victims of sexual violence in some capacity. That energy got channeled into directing it at these public figures, and women got wrapped up and not just women too, but mainly but people were getting wrapped up in seeking justice through watching these famous or powerful men get put, or knocked off a pedestal. But like, a lot of them didn't even experience any, they may have experienced career related consequences or, financial consequences, but not like they weren't, most of them didn't lose their freedom. Most of them didn't lose their freedom. They weren't, most of them weren't locked in jail. And the ones, some that were, Bill Cosby was a mess. I don't know. Some of them were kind of heartbreaking. There was a period where like people were in their feelings about their favorite celebrities getting outed, and it's still happening. I still notice people who are still caught up in all of that projection of their internal trauma, into seeking justice through some other public figure. I can't. I can't, because it's just like, and women were so upset. It's like, yeah, them getting rid of Kevin Spacey really did something for you, didn't it? It really made your rape a better experience, Now because Prince Andrew has, been publicly humiliated, he hasn't lost his freedom. You know what I mean? Like, but so many people were like projecting their anger, their desire for justice in their personal life, you know, their demon that they're struggling with. And that's the thing I realized. This is demonic because it's a demon that has a hold of people, and demons do come through the body through trauma a lot of the time, you know? It's any time when we're made unconscious, where we're driven out of the present moment. And that often happens, you know, in these experiences. So I just, you know, seeing it now and kind of seeing it from this spiritual warfare framework, these demons that are driving people, you know, and that are driving us are so destructive. You know, they're so destructive, and they can be used and misdirected. That's the other thing. They're completely misdirected. Not that you should, you know, play with your demons. I don't think that's right either. I think the right thing to do is to like forgive and move on with your life, honestly. Like, or if that's not possible, seek some other, like maybe these women do need to seek some form of criminal justice. But you know, in these circumstances, that's not always possible, you know, because I was seeing women like talk, you know, they're talking about like years and years since something may have happened, and we're often discouraged from seeking that anyway. Like, so it's a mess. It's really a mess. And just seeing this and like recognizing that these women's demons from their experiences that they went through and their feelings of victimization, you know, it manipulates that into becoming this monster that just is in the world devouring and destroying. And it's like, and like I said, with a lot of these guys, they're guilty. All right. I know people don't want to hear that, but it's really common. And a lot of guys have done things that they should not have done. Okay. And that's just the world we live in. And it's something, there is a dark side to humanity. There's a dark side to women, there's a dark side to men. And a lot of these guys have done things that they really should not have been doing, things that were not honorable, that cross lines. And sometimes they've done violent things and horrendous things. So, with keeping that in mind, you know, just because someone is guilty, there has to be evidence that one can bring forward to feasibly make a case with our justice system. Okay. And sometimes the evidence is just how crazy this person is. Clearly something happened. All right. Clearly this is why I said I'm inclined to believe, you know, if somebody comes to me and tells me that they've been through something, they could be lying, but it's something that like I'm not inclined to dismiss just because of what I've seen in the world and what I know is real. And I'm not going to let that, though, color how I behave and how I respond when these things come up, you know, when these little demons get triggered. Because that's what's happening. Me Too was a demon triggering moment. It was like an awakening of collective victimhood. And we love collective victimhood. because collective victimhood absolves human beings of responsibility for their own actions or inactions. So yeah, these little demons get triggered. And then these little cultural phenomenons pop off. And I don't think this is the only case of it, is it? Like, it happens regularly. And the hashtagging of it is kind of like funny too, because there's all of these different, hashtag tunnels you can fall into, of collective self-victimization. And it's just amazing to me that I ever fell into that. And honestly, that I remained there for so long. But honestly, like, I feel like, through so much of it, I was just enduring life, enduring it. I wasn't living it. I was just enduring it. And I felt like all of the world's problems were my problem, And it's just because I wasn't being in the present moment and I wasn't just appreciating the goodness in my life and the potential in my life and making the most of my time and my opportunities. But I mean, it's easy to feel victimized. It's easy because there's just so many little things, I can't really interact with like a lot of disability content, This is a whole thing I want to get into, This is a whole segment I want to get into, like that. Every like disability related, not every single one actually, because there's some like really cheesy fake disability, disabled like content creators, there's some very, fake accounts, but like a lot of the accounts, like the normal people making that content are so stuck in victimhood, and after dealing with it with the feminism, I can't deal with it anymore. Like when I even get a hint of that energy, it just feels so heavy and so violent as well. It does. It feels like an affront to my humanity and I guess my individuality as well. They really want us thinking collectively. They want us thinking, of ourselves in a collective fashion and not, in terms of what's best for me, the individual here in front of you. This is part of it. Like the triggering these collective demons is part of keeping people stuck in false identities, in worldly identities. That's all it is. It's man, the chat's been going, so I'm sorry I haven't been responding, but I had to get on that. Let's take a break. Let me respond to the chat, okay? We'll get caught up, see where we go. Why can't I scroll up? What? Okay, man, y'all been talking. I was dropping the hammer. Thank you. Yeah. Don't interrupt me when I'm speaking my truth. What happened to him was likely because he wanted to purchase NBC or something like that, similar to how MJ ended up owning Sony after his record deal. Are you referring to Kevin Spacey? I don't know. I honestly, I haven't really looked too much into that. What I first heard when it first came out, I was kind of like rolling my eyes, like, really? Really, they're gonna get him for that? Like, really? And the other thing that really irritated me is that he like came out at that time as well, and they were dogging him so hard for the way he came out and what he said about like being gay, his gay lifestyle. And he said, he kind of implied it was a choice. Oh no, can't, because that's another victim script, right? That's another victimhood script. Born that way. It's not a choice. That's another way that people get caught up in that collective fake identity. Get caught up. It's, and if anybody dares to say like it's a choice in any capacity, they're like, you're not really. You're not. You couldn't possibly. You're not as big of a victim as I am. Like, I'm the real victim here. My victimhood is bigger than your victimhood. God, how did I live like this? Like, I just think about it now and I'm like, this was my life. How could I do that to my wonderful self? It's horrible. Wait, I also missed, somebody called me glamorous. Let's scroll back to that. Thank you, Bubblelandia. Do you like my coat? I went out on my break. I got some coffee because the sun was out and I just wanted to get a little like sun on my skin and get some fresh air and like, I just needed it. We don't get a lot of nice days in the winter here. So I got a little coffee and I put my little coat on so I would look fabulous. It was nice out. It's like 60 degrees. Didn't need any gloves, didn't need a hat. Had my sunglasses. People were smiling and saying hello to me, Barista loved my coat. Man, I don't know. Like, I just, it gets intense, being at home, working at a screen all day, then playing with my other screens, and not having any like interface, like human interactions, and she was wearing a mask. She did. She had a whole ass mask on her face. I hope she's okay. Like, I hope she's okay. Like, I hope whatever is like threatening her, or maybe she had a cold, because that's, maybe she's getting over a cold. Maybe that's it. But when people wear masks for any other reason, like if you're sick, I understand it, because that's just polite. If you're sick and you have a cough and you're out in public, I understand wearing a medical mask. But any other reason, I don't see why people are doing it. And it wasn't even a medical mask. Again, more victimhood narratives that, perpetuate false identities, They try to get me with it too. Like, if you're immune compromised, immune compromised individuals, like that whole concept is just, you become more immune compromised if you don't live in the world, breathing the air, getting the germs. Like, I don't know. Okay. Man, okay, Lord Bibby, demons can control a whole land. Yes, they can. Have you heard of the Prince of Persia? I think America is facing the same sort of dilemma. Me too, as part of it. I have not heard of the Prince of Persia. Is this a book? Is this a like famous myth? I don't know. It's weird that all of the famous people accused in the Me Too movement, only Harvey Weinstein was jailed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They only get rid of certain people, or punish them in some way. That is true. I mean, they did. There's a lot of guilty people in Hollywood. There's a lot of freaks, okay? There's a lot of people that do bad things. Hollywood Babylon, honey, like it's been there since the beginning. I recommend that book, Kenneth Anger's Hollywood Babylon. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my house. The book is incredible, goes through the history of Hollywood, the early history. Kenneth Anger is a filmmaker himself and, grew up in Hollywood, grew up in LA, and he died recently. So rest in peace, Kenneth Anger. I hope he was saved. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's like us versus them, victim versus, oppressor. How tall is Terry? She seems 5'6" ish. I am 5'8". Although who knows anymore? Maybe I've shrunk a bit. That was Bill Cosby, Terry. Okay. Yes. Yes, you love the coat. The coat is good. Yeah. I think it's the structure of the shoulders. Yeah, it does have good shoulders. It's an interesting, yeah, it has this really nice collar. It's a little bit delicate, I would say the coat is. I do have to be mindful of it, but it's so warm and it's just like on a day like today, it was perfect to put on and be fabulous. I also saw my neighbor who goes to my church. I ran into her and talked to her. So she was like, "Where'd you get it?" And then we talked about the vintage pop-up market that I got it at. And quite an interest. I have to say that vintage pop-up market that me and Christy went to was interesting. Like I got this coat. I also ended up finding like a vintage red dress, it's not a wrap dress, but it's cute. It's like red, cinched at the waist, and it has some sort of like belt or something, I think. I haven't actually put it on, but I knew it would fit me when I got it. Like I was, looking at it. So then yeah, what else did I get there? Vintage pop-up market. What else did I get? Got those cool cross earrings. And I got this like lacy black kind of sleeveless thing that it's like a sleeveless lacy black overlay sort of top. So yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing that, especially when summer comes around and I can wear like lighter clothing and get kind of the full effect. But anyway. Okay, so Prince of Persia. Okay, this is a biblical reference. I don't know. I have to admit, like, I am missing some biblical knowledge. Like, I've read quite a bit of the Bible, but there are books I still am not familiar with. And, like, uh, but I'll get to them. I will. Oh, but yeah. I will today. I will be reading today. And then I have books that I've read so many times, So I have a lot of like knowledge of certain parts of the Bible and then others not so much. But anyway, let's read about it here. So the Prince of Persia is a demon that ruled over the entire land. And then the call before me on Nick's show, like that was interesting. And I'd come across like tales about Solomon and the jinn because it is part of like I think it's part of like the Islamic tradition and faith. This is like I'd heard about Solomon having been given a ring to like dominate the jinn, and so I'd also gotten into reading the paranormal investigator Rosemary Ellen Guiley, and she has a lot of books about the jinn, and like there's a lot of different like interviews she's done and like talks she's given about them. Amongst other things, she's like very prolific in her field, but I'd studied them a bit because they're like there's different kind of beliefs about these spirits. And so the guy on the show was talking about them as like demons. And I think that's pretty commonly how it's understood in the Christian tradition, but I don't know in all traditions. And like, I think I definitely believe in them, but like I also think the demonic is kind of more hidden, in plain sight. Like but I don't know. I don't want to get into categorizing types of spirits because I don't think that that's helpful. And maybe I should just kind of have that Christian view, like it's all not good for me. But anyway, let's continue. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. Now I've come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. Man, okay. Oh, thank you. You love the coat too. Yeah, it's a good coat. Yeah, they will do that. I've heard about these things. Toddlers. Oh, they're so funny when they're little. I love watching them. There's just like, they're crazy. Like, what are these kids doing? Like, how do they get, it's just, and it's like, I don't know. They're wild. They're wild. I see them sometimes and I'm like, oh man. Anyway. Okay. So I think I've spoken about what I wanted to speak about here with this topic. Just going over my mental notes. I didn't make any physical ones, but yeah, the whole thing is just people are really out of awareness of the way that their thoughts and feelings are how they become trapped. What's trapping you, right? What is trapping you? What is trapping you? Your thoughts and feelings usually are what trap you because they're not real, but you really identify with them and think they're real. And because of that identification with them, the feelings that feel good, that give you a good feeling, like just for example, we brought up again the radical feminist world, and my experiences of it. There was so much of that trauma bonding going on. You know what I mean? There was so much of that, women commiserating about their shared misery going on. And you don't just see it within radical feminism. You could go to any, like, group of, not any group of women, but oftentimes women get together and bond this way. They like gripe. They gripe at one another about like their dissatisfaction, with men or whatever. And it's not productive, obviously. And it just feeds this false sense of community, and identity. It's like, okay, well, we share all these things in common. We have shared pain. This person feels and understands the way I feel. And that gives us a good feeling because we're not alone. And, we hate to be alone. Human beings are really out of control. They are out of control. This is like the waking up. The waking up never ends. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter how much is revealed to me or I feel is revealed to me. It doesn't stop. My awareness of the simplicity of things it grows. I think I understand. And then it gets, things are just revealed. And it's like, wow, this is just so simple. It's all just spiritual warfare. It's all just like manipulation of the human feelings into creating chaos in the world. And this is why we have to overcome ourselves. We have to, again, the whole Christian message is to die to ourselves and be born again in a new spirit. That's it. Let ourselves be transformed by that spirit. Because otherwise, we are succumb to all of this spiritual violence. And we're still experiencing it, but we're learning how through this process to do it. We're learning how to do it. We're learning how to let go of the world so that we can do it. It's awesome. Like, I'm so glad I've like recovered my faith. It's been like such a blessing. It's such a blessing to have that knowledge. And so that I've also found like spiritual guidance too from like the right people at the right time. It's awesome. I'm grateful. Like, waking up is like, it's never too late. I'm saying that like like I'm old or something. I'm not. But it's just never too late to come to like awareness about the spiritual warfare being played and like what it means to overcome it and overcome the world. And I'm saying this like, I feel like I'm saying really radical things or something. I need to calm down. I need to rest. I need to wrap this up as well and get about my evening because it's been a long day. So I appreciate the compliments in the chat. Thank y'all are nice. Thank you. Like, I'm like a Maureen O'Hara. I had somebody say that recently to me, that I reminded them of Maureen O'Hara. also Irish. I would love Henry David Thoreau and Walt Whitman. Yeah, I have to be honest, I haven't really delved into their work, and I should because they're like great American authors. I do love that kind of thing. I do love reading classics. What would you recommend by Walt Whitman? I do love Mark Twain, like classic American authors. Like I love Poe, Edgar Allan Poe. You know, Mark Twain, I adore. Trying to think other classic American authors. Maybe I don't love that many of them, actually. Like, you read a lot of British authors. Although, what do I have in front? The books I have around me are British authors, actually. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yeah, but only if you actually understand the Holy Spirit and what it means to be awake. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I do, but then that's a feeling. Uh-oh. Am I caught in my own trap again? It's not, I just recognize that, again, like, I think awakening is a process, and it's like, it just doesn't stop. You know, you get a little bit, and then you get a little bit more, and the more that you do it, the more that you're in it, the more that you're just present and examining, observing, trying not to judge. I judge, though. Do I judge? Do I? I think so, a bit. But then again, people ask me, you know, there's like that, what's your Myers-Briggs type, right? People ask you that sometimes when they're getting to know your personality. I kind of don't like it, though, because again, it's another false identity, you know? It's another ego trap people get caught up in. It's no different than astrology or whatever, you know? And I think astrology is more real. You know, because it's ancient. Okay. Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I guess that is helpful. My account history has been uniquely helpful if revealing that common delusion in a gentle way. Yeah. I know sometimes I feel like this project is so like the Terry Strange project. What the hell is it? Like, why do I do these things? Like, why do I make videos? And like, what is the purpose of them? Why do I record myself? Like, I don't know. But it seems to have been having a good purpose. If that has been recorded, then that's a good thing, you know? I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I don't know. No, there I go saying I don't know. I don't like that I do that. Like, just to be real, when I listen to myself, sometimes I listen, you know, like I said, I listen to myself. I listen to my recordings because I want to get a grasp of what I talked about even deeper. And also, like, again, be inspired for other things. Yeah, when I hear myself say, I don't know, it bothers me. I have a feeling about it that I don't like, you know. Or when I say, you know. I think it sounds insecure, maybe. When I say I don't know, as if I don't know. I do know. That's why I'm talking about it. Why do I put out here like, I don't know. I don't know. It's so like, it's one of those feminine traits that I think bothers me about myself as a woman. You know, I think it's one of those, for the women watching, do you ever catch yourself being kind of like, I don't know, girly, maybe? It's like one of those things about me that I just wish I didn't, sometimes speak that way and project that into the world. I don't want to project, that I'm unaware of things. Like, of course, there are things I'm unaware of, but I don't want to project that I'm not knowing as well. Anyway, it's interesting. So, Leaves of Grass. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman and Walden by Thoreau. Yeah, I mean, I remember reading excerpts of that in like my remedial high school English class. So I have that awareness of it, but yeah, I haven't actually delved in and read like the whole work. Man, I really like, I am so frustrated. Another thing I need to go and forgive. You know how you think you give your parents, and then you have like a memory come back up to try to like bite you and make you feel like, anyway, I don't want to get into all of that. I don't want to get into all of that because it's not real. It's the past. Did it happen? Yes. Am I going to like live there? No. Because life is here and now. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Okay. Leaves of Grass and Walden. Yeah, I do need to read these. I don't know if I'll read them. I might actually just listen to them on an audiobook because I do that sometimes. And I love this comment. This is just awesome. It's fine not to know. But what do we know? Because again, like I just had this like past, resentment with my father come up in my mind. And then I'm like, where'd that come from, Satan? Like, why is it coming up? It has no relevance here. I don't remember what I was talking about now. I went off on that. It's just interesting, like how these little things come and jab at you. Like, here I am thinking about this. I should be planning, like, oh, maybe I'll, see if I can find an audiobook of that on, whatever thing I use, right? I do need to because I need to stop watching all of the like JLP crew, like, or like tune in less because like I love the programming they're doing like right now. I really love it all, but like I'm just distracted by it a bit and I need to not be. Like I'm getting things done, but I need to be doing more than just getting things done. I need to not be quiet quitting, Are you a quiet quitter? Anybody in the chat a quiet quitter? I'm not like, I don't, every time like I downgrade myself like in this way, like, you know, when I talk about my work ethic with friends, they're like, Terry, you're like not. So I get a lot done. I get a lot done every single day, but you know, sometimes I just need to focus on things better. Because I've found like, you know, at work sometimes I'll notice like today I noticed something that I'd missed, like something that should have gotten done and that I'd like missed. And I was like, now these things happen, but like I don't want them to happen. Yeah, exactly, dude. I am very hard on myself. You have no, it's again, there are so many things to get into about that. Admirable in a wife. Well, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. That who I swear whoever gets me is going to be a very lucky person if that's what is in the cards for me. I just know that. I'm like, man, whoever ends up with me is going to be like winning a very valuable prize, winning a real treasure, you know. And I just wish more people felt that way about themselves. I wish more people felt that way. Like I remember like I've said that to people before, like I'll just say things like that and I've had like really nasty responses sometimes from people. But then you look at like who's doing it and it's like, okay, this is a miserable person who is demonically possessed. So, you know, why would they ever acknowledge, you know, or have awareness about themselves and how valuable they are? You know, if somebody can't see how valuable they are, you know, they're not going to see how valuable another person is. And they're going to resent when that another person does see it. So, what is the JLP crew? Jesse Lee Peterson. All right. I am addicted to watching that damn show every morning. Like, and then like there's the other guys on the network too that they have. Like, I don't catch all of them. Like I do tend to miss part of like the others just because like of needing to focus. But the shows are so good. Like especially Joel Friday. Like he was the last one I really kind of got into watching, but like he's been hitting it out of the park like with his videos, like or with his he does like a live stream. So yeah, these are all live streams, YouTube live streams. And it's just like I don't know, it's an interesting like really interesting group of folks, like, and obviously, you know, obviously like it's just I don't know, there's some really interesting, like very interesting content being produced, like I just have to say. And it there's like a spirit to it like as well, which is kind of interesting to think about. Like it's spirited work, you know, it really is inspired by the spirit. And you know when you come across people and when you come across content creators, like that's what I want to see. I don't want to see I hate these fake creators. You know, I really do. Like I'm so sick of the fake content, fake people. I want to see like normal people. I like and that doesn't mean that things shouldn't be produced well or that kind of thing, but like I want to see real spirit animating the project, you know? Well, that's okay, Seth. You can visit with me later. Really? I remember way back when Joel was the board operator and he left the show entirely. Well, goodness, I'm glad he came back because his topics, yes, his topics are like really deep. Like I'll just be listening and like he's just like such a humble person in some ways that I don't even like grasp how deep what he said is until a few moments later. I'm like, whoa, he's like really revealing very deep truth. It's so refreshing and it's like I don't know, like I've been like, wow, this is really good. It's really good. Okay, what do I think of Candace Owens? Y'all know I love Candace Owens. Oh my goodness. I think she's adorable. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, she's just, I don't know. She's just like feisty and sometimes she gets a little bit nasty. I will say that. She does sometimes she'll like get when she gets kind of stern. I don't like that. Sometimes she'll be a little bit over the edge there, I think. But in terms yeah, I think she's a good intentioned person. I think that generally um her age I think is to me something that I appreciate because she's near me in age, so her perspective and the world she grew up in is similar to mine. So I find that when she talks about things, I'm getting a perspective that is relatable to me. um, I also I think her takes on like cultural topics are often really correct a lot of the times. She can be a bit harsh though. Like I said, like sometimes she does go a little too far. It's like, ooh, you should have stopped the sentence before. But I also am a savage, so I have to respect it as well because like I know that I've said things that can be cutting sometimes when I talk about subjects, but I think she might just have a personality that's more prone to just judging, in terms of how she interacts in the world and how she kind of analyzes. Like she has a judgment as a kind of dominant feature. No judgment about that. Like I think it has a place, and I don't know. I think she in terms of what she believes in and stands for, I think these are good things. And I think too, I respect, her brand. And when she got married, she kept her brand. A lot of people were giving her, I guess, kind of, talking disrespectfully towards her about the fact that her brand name hasn't changed when she got married, and I think that's kind of like taking it a bit far. I don't know, like her legal name changed, but she didn't change her business name. And like Terry Strange is a stage name as well. Like like I think about that. Like if I'm going to get married, am I going to change my stage name? Like, should that be expected of women? Like, I don't know, but the other thing I respect about her, she's in a biracial family. Her children are biracial. Like, she's not afraid to be for herself. I think that's kind of where I get on that with like there's a lot of judgment about that in conservative circles. I respect the fact that she doesn't care what people think of her. she's going to live her life in the best way for her. Yeah, there's just so much about her that I think is really awesome. So yeah, you've other people chiming in about her. She's a savage. She's an adorable savage. She's like, cute, but she'll mess you up. She's adorable because on the balance she's harmless. Yeah, I know she is harmless. Like people take it too seriously sometimes. It's just social commentary. Like, come on. She's so intelligent and elegant. She is. Yeah, I think she has an elegant kind of just demeanor, and like the way she looks as well is very kind of like refined, and she does seem to like really care about things that are, she cares about her values, and she seems to try to live by them, and she she's just a person at the end of the day. I think that's the other thing about it too. Like people are so vicious towards her, and I think that I really just admire and respect how she doesn't care what anyone else thinks at the end of the day, because again, she's lived her life on her own terms, it seems to me. I have a lot of like admiration for someone like her. She shoots from the hip. Indeed. In all honesty, conservatives cannot complain about biracial relationships. The men tend to marry out. Yeah, I know. The biggest white supremacists always have like, a Hispanic wife, an Asian wife, a Black wife. I can't stand that stuff anyway. I'm like not about that. Like, I know, yeah, there was a guy that called into like Hake's show today. I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. That Mark guy, I wish him well, but he has anger. Oh my goodness. He was honestly asking why they weren't promoting legal racial segregation, like to bring back segregation laws. And like, that's too far for me. That's like way too far for me. And it's crossing like some lines of decency. I don't understand. I don't like it. I don't like racism from any race. I don't like it when white people do it. I don't like it when I see other races do it. I don't like the lies about it. I mean, like, then again, I'm getting caught up in the label. But y'all know what I mean. Like, I don't like that. Like, I don't want to live in a world where people are treated that way. And, I have a lot of people in my family are mixed race as well. Like a lot of my extended like cousins and that kind of thing. Like, where do they go in that world? I don't think it's right. 'Cause it's evil. That's an evil spirit that makes people blame, something, a worldly thing, for a character thing. Thank you. Thank you. And you usually look great too. I love this woman's Instagram. Can I say a shout out? This is a beautiful woman here. I love it. I love your posts. I love your outfits. Like, just man, I love it. You know that, like, I just it's you know, when you just follow a woman and it's just exciting seeing her outfits, seeing her do her thing. Legalized segregation is dumb. People will segregate or integrate naturally. I can exactly, like, yeah, exactly. People that want to intermix will intermix. There's no avoiding that. I just, like, why do you, like, I also just wonder, like, why are people so paranoid all the time? Like, why do you let the news and statistics make you paranoid? Because it's all propaganda, man. Like, it's all propaganda. Like, why are you actually letting why are you actually, like, letting some news story you heard, some statistic you read, some video you watched of, like, people committing crimes, like, why are you letting that make you frightened when, like, all around you is, like, peacefulness? People living in their imaginations, and these type of things jab at you, and they're another way the demons get in. You know, and then they start driving people crazy, and then they start getting worried, like, oh, crime, when, like, yeah, it's a problem, but is it a problem that's affecting you? Why are you so frightened? Why are you letting the external, why are you letting what's going on around you, or what isn't going on around you, rather, dictate how you feel? Thank you, Stacy. I don't know. Is it still? I guess it's still on a bit. Yeah. I picked up this color, like, this weekend. I went to, when I got the nail polish, because I did my nails yesterday. When I got the nail polish, I picked up this lipstick as well. It's nice. It's not my favorite. I like the color, but it's not my favorite, like, formula, I guess. It's a little bit, it's not dry exactly, but it's not moist either. It's like a weird in between. I don't know. But the color I love. Like, the color is, like, right. I love when women admire each other. Yeah. I do too. I do too. I think it's good. I think it's good for women to admire one another. Like, we should. Women are awesome. Like, the way we are, the things we do, like, we're great. We're like, I don't know, just we add something to the equation, you know, which would be rather dull without us, I feel, you know. And everybody else knows it too. So yeah, it's been fun, but I should run. I enjoyed the talk, and I hope that you all are well until I see you again. I don't know when that will be, but could be soon, could be later. But anyway, yeah. Take care, and I'll see you again. Good night.